Hello, exhibit design class. I just wanted to record a short video to talk about your schematic design that's due on the 6th of November. So we did talk about it a little bit in our class, but I've had a few questions, so I just want to be sure you're all clear. So the goal of this phase is to flesh out the scope and character of the project. You're going to expand on ideas and information generated through the concept plan phase. And I am reading this from our handout that's in our Sakai page. So individual exhibits or experiences are going to be explained in more detail. You'll talk about the goals and objectives for each. The spatial arrangements, the layouts, the traffic flow, you'll determine along with an overall graphic style. So by the end of this phase, you'll have more detailed information in the form of sketches, narratives, storyboards, and layouts. You'll outline sections of your exhibit area with key objects, images, and quotes you want to include. So in this part, you're going to have this storyboard. So these are, I gave you a few examples, but for example, you might want to choose one or two of your exhibit components, like sections, if you will, and create a storyboard, which you could have three separate panels that you are going to talk about what the experience when the visitor walks in, kind of in the middle, and then toward the end. And maybe a sketch in each of those of what a graphic panel might look like, or if there's going to be someone holding something that they're going to touch, you can just sketch out the person and what they're holding. So maybe it's an interactive something. And you'll fill in some objectives for that. So you want a goal and 3 measurable objectives for that. You know, you want someone to walk away, and I have included in the description some action verbs, right? So you might want to, and this is from Bloom's taxonomy. I do love this handout because these are also verbs when you're teaching and talking to people that are really helpful to think about when you want to know if someone had an experience that you wanted them to have. So maybe it's about knowledge, right? So you want them to identify something, or you want them to name something, or you want them to be able to repeat something, or you want them to describe something. Or maybe your goal is at the comprehension level. You want them to be able to summarize something or explain something or express or identify, paraphrase, recognize. Those are some of the verbs that go along with them. So there's different levels of understanding. Probably an exhibit, this evaluation, which is kind of the highest order, is a little hard to ensure unless you're giving them some sort of handout at the end, which you could do. You could decide toward the end, we want to have rate their experience and what they learned. And so you might give them something to do that. But for this part, I'm trying to find my handout again. For this part, you are just going to pick maybe 1 or 2 of your areas or exhibit spaces or galleries and do a storyboard. You know, it'll really show detail of the visitor experience in that section. You might even choose 3. It just kind of depends on how long one takes you and how much detail you put in that one. And the other piece of this is looking at your audience. Has your audience changed a bit since you've started? You might want to narrow or just confirm your audience, being as specific as you can. The third part is this goals and objectives written in a way that you can measure them for the sections. So what would be great is if you did a storyboard and you had like some goals there of what you want people to walk away with. And then if you also either chose, you know, your whole exhibit of what you want people to walk away with, and maybe it's similar to that exhibit space, but maybe there's something else that you want them to walk out of the exhibit with, and you can include that as well. Again, there's going to be some creativity here. Some people might want to do a storyboard for, let's say they have 3 exhibit components. You might want to do one for for each of the three, and then you might want to do like a separate kind of goal for when people leave, what you want them to walk away with. I'm not going to be super specific of what you have to have, because I do want you to have some creativity and leeway. Then you're going to propose methods of interaction of each zone and the theme and the experience. So this includes short descriptions of each zone and theme, including how might your visitors encounter content. So what are the kinds of interactive experiences that your visitors will have in each zone? So these could be panels. Maybe they're going to have panels with engaging text, maybe hands-on manipulative components, maybe some sort of tech, problem solving, artifacts, live animals, sensory experience, games. So outline that. Then the content research is, you're going to develop this further from the content plan phase. So you're going to identify species sources, specific sources of relevant content. So you'll need some content to write your storyline, your copy, and your labels for the next phase. So this might be the information. If you're going to talk about a sea otter, you're going to have in here like all this data, or maybe information and references of information about how many hairs per square inch, what do they eat, how long do they live. And in your next phase kind of is where you write maybe a storyline and some specific labels. But remember, when we're going to interpret, first we need all the scientific information, and then we kind of digest that and think of ways to express it that will help people remember. Your floor plan you did earlier, and right now then what I want you to do is look at it and provide some scale to us, and maybe just refine it. So when you walk in, like, is this section 5 feet? Is it 20 feet? Is it 10 feet? How much space are we talking about? Because when you're going to think about this as we move through the rest of the semester, we want to know, is your panel, a small panel? Is it a 2 foot by 2 foot panel? Or is it like a huge wall panel? What is our space look like? And we really want to get a sense of that. You could put in the height of the ceiling, is this part of the exhibit that you're walking past 5 feet? Is it 25 feet? Give us that sense of, what is the space I'm walking into? And you've done that, with kind of your first outline, but now I want you to put it to scale. So that's this phase. The next phase, and I can do another video if this was helpful, maybe it's not helpful, you can let me know, but phase 3 is the design development. That's due on the 20th. So in this design development phase, you're going to focus on one zone of your plan, if that makes the most sense for your exhibit, and you're going to have more detailed design drawings, descriptions, specifications for the project components. It's usually done for all zones, if you're actually putting together an exhibit, and typically prepared in a plan and elevation form with details and notes as needed to clearly indicate the desired design direction of each proposed exhibit. But your group may choose just to do one area and get really specific with it. So this will be kind of the look and feel, visual examples, colors, textures. So this is where, I would love to see some specific graphics. You can make it on an 8x10 sheet, or on a slide, but show us and tell us, what the colors will be, what the font will be, what the images will look like, that kind of thing. So that's what I meant in the beginning when we discussed like drilling down. This project is kind of scaffolded because you get more and more specific as we go. So I can talk more about that. I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to hearing from you.